Don, can you give us a minute about who you are and what's your specialty?
Well, Bill, my specialty is I went into a research project in 1985. I had already become a pretty successful tennis teacher back on the East Coast. And I moved to Southern California and I said, I want to find out really what this is about. I was already a master pro. I was fortunate to be one of the original 18. I'd gotten pro of the year about 3 or 4 times by then. I had students winning national titles, students on the pro tour. And I still wanted to probe more. And I thought at that time that I knew about 95% of what I needed to know to be an effective teacher. And I started doing some research. Actually, the first piece of it was with the guys out of Santa Cruz who developed neuro-linguistic programming. I looked at that and I went, oh my goodness, I'm at 95% of the way. I've just begun. This is endless work. So I went into this research project, hoping to finish it in a year. And that was 1985. The work is still going on.
Some people may know neuro-linguistic programming simply by NLP, right?
NLP, and if they watch late night TV, it's what Tony Robbins is based his work on. Well, that opened the door into just a myriad of things. So it's not about understanding tennis. Being a great teacher is not about understanding tennis. We have to understand all aspects of the human condition. We have to understand how they learn, how they communicate, how they receive communication. There's so many aspects to it.
So you're in the middle of giving this course on, how people learn. And I'm incredibly intrigued by that. It sounds very intense. What are some of the issues in terms of how people learn that many tennis pros miss out on?
The typical lesson, in fact, giving the PTA test through the years, I've seen about 10,000 lessons. It's been estimated. That's a lot of tennis lessons. And the most common lesson I see given, I title All I Know About Tennis. The tennis teacher comes out and spouts information, thinking that if everybody hears everything, they will then be able to perform any given task. Nothing could be further from the truth. So what we do is we take a look at how people really do learn new movements and new skills, such as how did you learn to ride a bike? Did you go to riding a bike school? I don't think so. You got on the bike and you fell down and you scraped your knee, you washed the knee, blood off the knee, then you get back on the bike and in a day or two you were up there and all of a sudden you had this magic feeling. That's what we really do. What we really should be doing is we should be leading people to an experience of the desired skill.
Instead of sort of trying to drill a hole in their head and use our funnel and pouring the information into their head, then probably what we ought to be doing is trying to sort of draw the performance out of the person.
That's exactly right. Drawing a performance out and drawing the athlete out. We have to employ various methods to do that. They're all communication tools of one sort of another, but we also have to understand natural reactions of the body. There are reactions of the body that we don't give honor to. If we recognize those oversimplifications. So let's say someone is hitting the ball late on a regular basis. So if we tell them they're hitting late, the reaction to that is going to be they're going to continue to hit late. So then if we tell them to hit early, the reaction to that in most cases will be they'll swing faster. That's not going to do it either. But if we ask them to hit the ball and we point to the strings up near the tip of the racket, like 3 or 4 strings down from the very top, they will, and we ask them to slowly hit the ball there, they will now hit it early. That's a neurological response to that request. That works on the forehand, backhand, volleys, everything. So we get them now to hit on time, and we never do tell them the truth. So they're hitting out there, they're thinking out there, and when they get a solid hit, they just think that's it, and we never tell them what we're doing. We never tell them it's about getting them to hit on time.
So the principle there seems to be that they'll pay attention to what they're paying attention to, and their mind is on the detail that is important.
Yeah, and we have to understand what our request will generally pull out of the athlete. So I mean, I never would have guessed that hitting near the top of the strings would cause them to hit early until I worked with it. And it does, almost without exception. So if we keep them out there, they're going to, and that's their thought. That's their thought. They will now generally hit on time. And when they don't hit on time, we don't tell them they're not on time. We don't tell them they're late ever. What we do is we just point to the third or fourth string. Go, next couple up here. And now they're on time.